Swords are some of the most iconic and awesome weapons of all time. Everybody wants to master the blade, and those who do are extremely awesome. Some of these swordsmen are Tanjiro from Demon Slayer and Miyabi from Zenless Zone Zero. These two warriors are extremely skilled in the art of sword fighting, and they are one of, if not the best sword fighters in their respective verses. Hello everyone, I'm Dusty, and today I will be talking about two very popular sword fighters. Those two characters being Tanjiro Kamado from Demon Slayer and Hoshimi Miyabi from Zenless Zone Zero. These two characters are masters at using a sword, and they are also one of the most popular characters from each media. Now let's begin this battle with their backstories, starting with Tanjiro. Tanjiro Kamado was a kind-hearted boy who lived in his family in the mountains until the Demon King Muzan came and killed his family and turned his sister Nezuko into a demon. To avenge his family, he joined the Demon Slayer Corps, and his main goal was to defeat Muzan and turn his sister back into a human. Now that you know who Tanjiro is, let's talk about his opponent, Hoshimi Miyabi. Miyabi grew up with the constant danger of the Hollows. The creatures from the Hollows had killed her family as well as people close to her. This led her to joining the Kazuma group, where she trained her whole life to defeat the Hollows. She has a cold demeanor that prevents her from forming bonds with others. Now that we know who our fighters are, let's see who would win in a fight. Let's talk about their feats of strength, speed, durability, IQ, and just general abilities that they have. Let's start with strength. Even early on in his career, Tanjiro was able to cut through large boulders with very little difficulty. He was also able to cut through Rui's threads, which have been stated or can be theorized to be around as thick as boulders, if not thicker. Tanjiro is also able to headbutt his opponents, and these headbutts are so strong, he was able to hurt demons with extremely powerful regeneration. He was also able to damage Muzan, who was able to level a city with ease. Overall, Tanjiro's strength can be scaled to city, however that's a large highball, and he can more realistically be scaled to town level. As impressive as that may seem at first, Miyabi's strength just blows his out of the water. Miyabi is most known for cutting and destroying hollows, which are dimensions of space-time that are capable of warping reality. This is a universal feat, and it is very consistent. However, Miyabi has another feat that is superior to anything Tanjiro has physically done himself. We are shown that Miyabi can very easily cut cargo ships in half. To do this, she would have to hit with a force of 598 tons of TNT, which is a city-level feat, which is higher than Tanjiro's town-level feat. So obviously, Miyabi is far stronger than Tanjiro with her city-to-universal levels of strength. However, she has more consistent universal feats. So Miyabi would most likely scale to universal, which far exceeds Tanjiro. Now let's talk about speed. Tanjiro's best speed feat is dodging Upper Moon 4's lightning attacks. Although this is very inconsistent because it had been shown that Tanjiro struggles to dodge it and gets hit by it more times than he can dodge it. He also gets hit by sound waves very often, which, by the way, sound is a lot slower than lightning. So Tanjiro's speed can only be scaled to relativistic, or 30,000 kilometers a second. And Miyabi can move faster than perception consistently, which at a minimum is 299,792 kilometers a second, or 671 million miles per hour. Miyabi also fights faster than lightning on a constant basis, Miyabi has also been able to react and slice bullets being fired directly at her. However, that's far slower than her faster than perception and faster than lightning speeds. So who's faster? It's Miyabi, by a large margin. Tanjiro struggles to dodge lightning and gets hit by sound, which is a lot slower than lightning. And Miyabi easily reacts and dodges lightning, as well as her minimum combat speed being faster than lightning. It's very likely that Tanjiro would struggle to even track Miyabi. And so Miyabi might be faster and stronger, but can she take more hits than Tanjiro? Tanjiro's best durability feat is surviving hits from Muzan and Gyutaro that had the power to level cities. He also has a very high pain tolerance and endurance, being able to fight despite the pain of his own arm being torn off during the final war arc at the end of the Demon Slayer manga. Miyabi can take hits from monsters that can level cities. However, that's not even Miyabi's best durability feat. Miyabi was able to beat and take hits from Lerna, who can create hollows, which, like I said before, are dimensions of space-time, which means hollows are universal structures. This means Miyabi's durability would scale to universal due to the fact that she can take hits from a person, also known as an ethereal, who can create universes. So yeah, this is no contest. Tanjiro can survive city-level attacks, but Miyabi can take hits from an ethereal who can create universal structures. While Tanjiro can be argued to have higher endurance than Miyabi simply has far better durability. Now let's quickly go over these characters' intelligence. Miyabi has far better battle intelligence due to her training for most of her life, and Tanjiro only training for a few years of his life, as well as her being a master strategist and tactical genius. Tanjiro does have superior adaptability in combat than Miyabi. However, that's not nearly enough to outsmart Miyabi. Lastly, let's talk about these characters' abilities. First of all, Tanjiro has two main abilities that he uses the most. Those abilities are water and sun breathing. Water breathing is a technique that allows the user to have swift movements similar to water, but it also allows the user to create structures that reflect aspects of water. It is more of a defensive technique. However, it has been shown that it can also be a very effective offensive technique. Sun breathing is the strongest breathing technique that has been stated of being capable of slowing down a demon's regeneration, as well as increasing the user's flexibility and stamina. Tanjiro also has an ability called the See-Through World, which slows down time for Tanjiro, increasing his perception, and it allows him to predict his opponent's moves. Tanjiro also has the Selfless State, which allows Tanjiro to detach from his emotions and physical sensations to become undetectable by his opponents. However, this only works if his opponent has an ability to detect spiritual energy, like how Akaza in the Infinity Castle was able to detect Tanjiro's fighting spirit, and so when Tanjiro used the Selfless State, Akaza couldn't track him, which led to his ultimate defeat. So this ability won't really work on normal people. Miyabi has a wide variety of abilities herself. For starters, she has an ability called Stigma, which allows her to enhance her already pretty high mobility and agility. Miyabi can also increase her strength, speed, and durability slightly by using Tailless, which is a spirit connected to her blade that's also named Tailless. Miyabi can also control Frost, which is an element that allows Miyabi to give her opponents frostbite, freeze them into a block of ice or an ice statue, or freeze the battlefield, changing the temperature and causing the battlefield to freeze over and become ice. So who wins? It's Miyabi, with no difficulty. Miyabi's faster, stronger, smarter, and more durable than Tanjiro. Tanjiro is city level at a high ball, and Miyabi is universal at a very consistent scaling. Tanjiro also has no way to hurt or even touch Miyabi, so its most likely scenario is that Miyabi just speed blitzes Tanjiro before he even has a chance to pull out his sword. But there is one thing that Tanjiro has that might be able to turn the tides, and that is Demon King Tanjiro. Demon King Tanjiro is a being stronger than Muzan himself. Demon King Tanjiro has near instant regeneration and is immune to all things demons are weak to, such as decapitation and the sun. Demon King Tanjiro also can use Tanjiro's breathing techniques, similar to how Kokoshibo, Upper Moon 1, is able to use moon breathing, as well as Demon King Tanjiro having these weird bony tentacles that come out of his back. Since Demon King Tanjiro is immune to the normal ways you kill a demon, such as decapitation and the sunlight, the only way you can kill him is by destroying every single one of his cells, since Tanjiro can come back from even a single cell, similar to Muzan. So the question is if Miyabi can kill Demon King Tanjiro. If she can't, Tanjiro would win this fight due to the fact that, due to his regeneration, he has infinite stamina, and so the fight would just keep going until Miyabi would tire. But if she can, then Miyabi absolutely wipes the floor with Tanjiro. Let me scale Demon King Tanjiro to see the answer to this. Muzan was able to level cities with ease, and Demon King Tanjiro can leave large craters in the ground just by screaming. Muzan was also able to speed blitz every single Hashira, which even the slower ones can barely can react to lightning, albeit very inconsistently, since Mitsuri was also hit by Hatengu's sound waves, which are slower than lightning. But my point still stands. The fastest Hashira would be around hypersonic. So Demon King Tanjiro would be city level with hypersonic speeds. This still isn't enough to overpower or outspeed Miyabi. However, Demon King Tanjiro's near immortality would make that almost not important. Even though Miyabi outscales Demon King Tanjiro in almost everything except speed, which would now be somewhat equal, but I would still give the edge to Miyabi just slightly, that doesn't matter if Miyabi can't kill Demon King Tanjiro. So can Miyabi kill Demon King Tanjiro? Can Miyabi destroy all of his cells before he can regenerate the lost cells? I believe that she can. Even with how much faster Demon King Tanjiro is as a demon, with his speed to be arguably hypersonic, Miyabi consistently has those speeds and more consistently has that level of speed. However, if we were to say that both were hypersonic, that wouldn't really scale to his regeneration. However, I do believe Miyabi would still be slightly faster, but why does that matter? That matters because Miyabi would be faster than Yoriichi, who was able to defeat Muzan and nearly destroy all of his cells. Yoriichi said himself that he was able to destroy 1,500 cells out of the 1,800 cells. So if he was slightly faster, he would have killed Muzan permanently. Muzan had the same, had the same regeneration as Demon King Tanjiro. So if somebody slower than Miyabi could come close to doing it, Miyabi could definitely do it herself. That means Miyabi can kill Demon King Tanjiro, and with how badly she outscales, Miyabi wins this fight with no to low difficulty. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you disagree, put your comments down below and I will read them. Hit the like button, and if you like this video, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you'll see whenever I post. I'm Dusty, and I'm signing off. Have a good day.